one of the important things to do as soon as you can do it as a studio is to diversify to become a two-team studio rather than a one-team studio. Okay, because a one-team studio, typically, not only is it entirely dependent upon what happens to that publisher's fate, it also lacks very often the resources to even be able to pitch other titles in the midst of producing the one that's working on. And if you can't have an active biz dev cycle that's supported by creative at all times, that's a problem. And you're going to find yourself hitting the end of a project going, okay, what do we do now? Or, perfect example, take a company like BitComposer, which was going along as a viable company, but then had a problem. And there were companies that were in the middle of development projects with them that BitComposer had to cancel because they went into receivership, right? Well, at that point, if that's the only game in town for you and your rights are tied up in a receivership for the product you're working on, you can go under as a studio, So being a two-team studio as soon as you can be is important. And maintaining a biz dev cycle that's respectful of the realities of it, okay? The realities of it is the more you're asking for, the longer it takes to get a deal papered and signed. So if a publisher's coming to you with an RFP, then he already knows and he's already got money allocated and he already knows when he wants to start that. So that's going to happen, within a certain reasonable amount of time, provided that you win that. Okay, so you always got to be in a position to compete for those RFPs, okay? But when it comes to OIP, you're asking somebody to fund something that they don't know that they need yet. Okay, so even if they come to the idea of needing it and wanting it, there's still going to be a certain amount of time between that and the point where you actually get to where a contract is drafted, and then a contract is finalized, and then contract is signed, and then money changes hands. You know what I mean? And that process can be literally anywhere from 3 to 9 or even 12 months, which if you're entirely cash flow dependent as a studio on what's going to happen in the next month, you got a problem.